Welcome back to a Clan a Day podcast. I'm your host, Colin MacDonald. Today, we journey to the turbulent Scottish borders to explore the history of Clan Armstrong, a name synonymous with strength, defiance, and resilience. The Armstrongs, one of the most powerful and feared border clans, were a force to be reckoned with, capable of raising 3,000 horsemen by 1528, a number that testifies to their dominance in Liddesdale, Eskdale, and Annandale. Their story is one of legendary deeds, relentless raids, and a fierce independence that ultimately led to their downfall. The Armstrongs trace their origins to a heroic figure named Fairbairn, the armour-bearer to a Scottish king. According to tradition, Fairbairn earned the name Armstrong when he saved his king in battle, lifting him onto his own horse after the king's mount had been slain. For this act of bravery, the king rewarded Fairbairn with lands in Liddesdale, thus beginning the lineage of a clan that would become both revered and reviled along the Anglo-Scottish border. The first recorded chief of the clan was Alexander Armstrong, also known as the Laird of Mangerton, who established the family in the late 13th century. Under his leadership and that of his descendants, the Armstrongs expanded their influence and built formidable strongholds, including Mangerton Tower and Gilnockie Tower. These fortresses became symbols of the clan's power and were key to their ability to dominate the region. One of the most significant figures in the clan's history was Gilbert Armstrong, who served as the steward of the household to King David II and was Scotland's ambassador to England. This connection to the Scottish crown highlighted the clan's early loyalty to the monarchy, a relationship that would later become fraught with tension and rebellion. The Armstrongs' rise to power, however, was marked by a notorious reputation for lawlessness. As border reivers, they were infamous for their raids into England, where they plundered and wreaked havoc, keeping the borders in a state of perpetual turmoil. Their prowess in battle and their ability to evade capture made them both admired and feared. The Armstrongs' relentless forays were a thorn in the side of both the Scottish and English crowns, leading to a series of conflicts that would eventually bring about their downfall. One of the most famous episodes in Armstrong history is the story of Johnny Armstrong of Gilnockie, a legendary figure who became the subject of one of the most famous border ballads. In 1529, Johnny Armstrong, who was considered the most notorious of the border reivers, was lured to a meeting with King James I under the guise of peace. However, instead of negotiation, the king had Johnny and his men hanged on the spot, a move intended to quell the clan's rebellious spirit. This act of betrayal and its tragic outcome have been immortalized in song and story, symbolizing the ruthless measures taken by the crown to control the borders. Despite the loss of their leader, the Armstrongs continued to resist royal authority. Their refusal to submit culminated in the execution of their leaders in 1610 during the reign of James VI. This marked the beginning of the end for the clan's power. The Armstrong lands were confiscated and given to the Scots, another powerful border family, and the clan was effectively scattered. Many Armstrongs fled to Ireland, where their descendants remain to this day, particularly in County Fermanagh, where Armstrong is still a common name. The Armstrongs' legacy, however, was not entirely extinguished. Their name lives on in history and culture, perhaps most famously through Neil Armstrong, the American astronaut who became the first man to walk on the moon in 1969. Neil Armstrong carried with him a piece of the Armstrong tartan, a symbolic gesture that connected his historic achievement to the storied past of his ancestors. The Armstrongs were not just warriors and raiders, they were also influential figures in the broader history of Scotland and beyond. For instance, Sir Alexander Armstrong was a noted Arctic explorer, and Edwin Howard Armstrong invented FM radio, innovations that have left a lasting impact on the world. The clan's contributions to Scottish history, literature, and science demonstrate the enduring influence of this formidable family. Today, the Clan Armstrong Trust, established in 1978, works to preserve the heritage and history of the Armstrongs. The Trust operates from Gilnockie Tower, now a museum dedicated to the clan's storied past, where visitors can learn about the Armstrongs' role in the border wars and their lasting impact on Scottish culture. The tale of Clan Armstrong is one of courage, defiance, and resilience, from their legendary origins to their role as border ravers. The Armstrongs have left an indelible mark on Scottish history. Though their power was eventually broken, their legacy endures, a testament to a clan that refused to be subdued. Thank you for joining us on A Clan a Day podcast. I'm Colin MacDonald, and I hope you'll tune in next time as we continue our journey through the history of Scotland's most fascinating clans. Until then, Gon Éirí and Bothar Leat.